Where's our money? And and I need people to understand the conversation that we are about to have. And I need black people to really understand what I'm about to talk about because um, there are a lot of black folks who have no concept or understanding of what I'm about to say. And that is the business of politics is huge. We're talking billions of dollars being spent in every election cycle. Y'all, I'm talking billions. We're talking about school district races, city council races, DA races, judicial races, state rep, state senate, city council members, county commissioners, water district, gubernatorial. We're talking U.S. House, U.S. Senate, presidential. I mean, we're going state Supreme Court races. And folks, it's all driven by funding. So you have campaigns. So when you want to run for office, you have a campaign team. But when you have a campaign team, what you also have the business. So guess what? The yard signs, the door knock, the door tags, all those things, I mean, we can go on and on and on. The PR companies, the ad agencies. We're talking, you name it. And here's a reality, especially when we talk about national politics. You cannot name me a single major black-owned political company. Okay, let me make this thing even better for you. Kellyanne Conway, after leading Trump's campaign, sold her firm, multimillionaire. David Axelrod, multimillionaire. David Plouffe, multimillionaire. Bully Pulpit, multimillionaire. There were companies that worked on the 2020 presidential campaign who left a firm, went and started their own firm in 2023, and boom, were sent 60, 80, $100 million in billings to handle. Y'all, this happens all over the place. And do you know the folk who are making most of the money don't look like me or our panel? Jamie Harrison has his podcast out, and it's my interview with him. And I talked about this on his podcast. And I was very frank about it on his podcast and didn't give a damn. And I was being very honest that white Democratic strategists are making bank, buying second homes, buying yachts, living the high life, even when it's involving black candidates. And the black companies are treated very much like the black voters as political sharecroppers. I saw this tweet today, and Taylor Coleman, a young woman out of Texas, and remember she got in a van and she traveled all around and trying to help people campaign. This is what she posted on. She said, "A white consultant once told me our audience isn't exactly watching BET when I asked about black ad spending right before we lost a winnable North Carolina congressional district with a 20% black population. Wake up." This Stephen Smith said, "A lot of non-black consultants and strategists do not like the fact our party base is black. They find it inconvenient at best. And so what's happening right now is a lot of politicos are using the Tellerico, all red Crockett spat to push a perspective they already believe." If you go look at the conversation I had with Chuck Roca, who's from Texas, we talked about this here. We talked about the money game. Do y'all understand that we are less than a month away from the Texas primary, Tellerico and Crockett? You heard Arrington say when they're having the Georgia primary. Then Florida is in August. And so you got all these states, all these different primaries. And y'all, all these different groups, oh, they've been meeting, divvying up the money. If we sat down and said, we're going to examine all 435 U.S. House races, the 45 Senate races, and if we examine the state races, and then the state Senate and the state House races, and county commissioners, city council, school board, y'all will be shocked at the low number of black campaign managers. See, right now, everybody's talking about how did they have 10 NFL openings and not one black head coach got hired? Well, how did they have nearly 500 campaigns in the U.S. House and Senate? And if I had to put, let me see. If I had to put, If I had to bet, let's see. Okay, that's 100. That's 200. That's 300. Okay, I got that's $400. I would bet this $400 in book signing money for my last book signing. I bet that $400 out of the 470 House and Senate campaigns, I bet that times 10 that you don't have 10 black campaign managers. I can guarantee you, out of the 470 U.S. House and Senate races, you have less than 10 of those campaigns where their lead poster is an African American. No. Not we got a black poster who's basically a subcontractor. No, I mean the chief poster. I guarantee you it's less than that, the number of black media strategists. You see, y'all got to understand the campaign game, the political game. The political game, the money to make is not putting the money in a ground game. No, they make their money on the TV buys. They negotiate deals to say, okay, our firm will receive anywhere from 10 to 18% of the amount of money you spend on television. So if you spend $100 million on TV ads, and if they're getting 15%, the campaign that firm is getting that 15 mil. They get that, that's what they're making. That's why they want to put the money in TV and radio. That's how they get paid. See, there is a business of politics. And see, the same white strategists move to the next campaign whether the candidate wins or loses. So the Democrats and the Republicans, they have the DSCC, Democratic Senate Congressional Committee, and the DCCC, they got an approved list of vendors. These are the list of strategists, communications people, campaign people. These are the vendors. They're not black. And so the black folks, they have what I call lifestyle jobs. See, some of y'all about to really, let me explain what a lifestyle job is. That means they're going to pay you 60, 70, 80,000, you might get 100. You might get 150. He or she gonna make 3, 4, 5 million. So you're trying to get a campaign job. They're giving campaign contracts. And so when we're trying to fight this stuff, I have to deal with Simple Simon Negroes. What you trying to do? You trying to sit here and get that Democratic money? So does NBC, CBS, ABC, so does Fox, so does the New York Times, the Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, USA Today, Los Angeles Times, Charlotte Observer, Houston Chronicle, Dallas Morning News, Chicago Tribune, Chicago Sun-Times, Boston Globe, Louisville Courier-Journal, Miami Herald, and on and on and on. Every media company is trying to do that. But see, you get black people who then will say to black-owned media, you should not be doing that. And see, I'm explaining how the campaigns work. See, they want black people, I say political sharecroppers, they want black people to do the work for free. So, and I'll tell you, somebody called me last month. Hey, and well-meaning brother, hey, I got some candidates I would love to get on your show. Okay. Are those candidates spending any advertising money? See, I'm going to tell the campaign the same thing I tell these streaming services. If you believe that my audience is valuable enough to talk to vote, or to watch your shows, how is my same audience not valuable enough for you to run ads to appeal to them? See, the point is not, oh, this is quid pro quo. No. They automatically are going to spend with white media. But they ain't going to do it black media. And so they're going to give black media a crumb and see thirsty, hungry, starving Negroes. Oh, my God, boss, this is an amazing meal. This is me. That's a crumb. I can't eat that. That's a crumb. So what you want me to do with a crumb? Hell, I can't even lick my fingers eating a crumb. It ain't enough. So people then go, well, why can't we have black media covering this, covering this? That costs money. So how are we going to send the staff? How are we going to buy the equipment? Where do you think the money comes from? In media, the money comes from advertising. So here we are in a political year. And I'm telling y'all right now, it's going to happen. The Senate Majority PAC, that's Chuck Schumer's PAC, trying to elect those United States senators. Who are they spending money with? In Sherrod Brown race in Ohio, the Texas race, Ossoff's race in Georgia, Cooper's race in North Carolina, the race in Alaska, the race in Maine. See, I can go on and on and on. And what I'm trying to get us to understand, black people, that when you all of a sudden are able to build up black political firms, and they can then have outcomes where candidates win, they hire people, and they hire more people, and then they get larger. It doesn't mean that a black-owned firm can only talk to the black people. If you are a pollster who is black, you can poll non-black people. If you are a media buyer, you can buy in media that's not just black-owned media. You can buy any kind of media. But what we as black people have to understand is we have got to stop. This applies to entertainment. It applies to sports. It applies to politics. I need black people to learn to stop being the show and also be the business. Remember that scene from Get On Up? When the white record label guy stands up and he starts dancing, and Chadwick playing James Brown goes, "Mr. So-and-so, what you doing?" And he said he was doing whatever that. He said, "That ain't what that is." He went, "Precisely, James." He says, "You're the show and I'm the business." Now, James Brown was offended by that. Hell, I was too. But that is the reality of how black people have historically been treated when it comes to entertainment, sports, politics, and everything else. We are the show. We're the ones who get on the stage and do the dancing and do the singing and do the playing and do all of that, and they are the business. And so while we're the show, they are over there handing out contracts, hooking up friends, stuff along those lines, becoming multimillionaires. And when you are done singing, dancing, acting, and playing and politicking, then you ain't got nothing left. But they've become multimillionaires. So when we have more of these conversations, I'm going to need y'all to then follow up, because you're going to need to be commenting and liking and posting and sharing. Because what they have to understand is you can't reach the black electorate in 2026 the same way you did in 2016, in 2006, in 1996, in 86, in 76, and 66. You can't. This point right here, this white consultant, our audience isn't exactly watching BET. Yeah, I can tell y'all right now, the Harris campaign, they dropped $22 million. Out of all that money they raised, $22 million was spent on black-owned media. BET got $9 million. Now, the question is, how much did black podcasts get? How much did black-owned podcasts? So what I need our people to understand is that we can't just say we want to see a black agenda. We want to see black candidates. We need to be saying, no. We want to see a 360-degree view of this, where we want to see black folks at the table. And then we got to also tell the campaigns, oh, don't go hire a magical Negro who then only feeds the folk that he or she knows. No. It's the whole game. Because again, y'all, they make signs, they print stuff, they do radio spots, they do TV spots. There is an entire economy that's built around political campaigns that is a multi-billion-dollar industry that we are essentially frozen out of. And it's even a lot of black candidates and black elected folk who don't use black companies as well. Y'all better understand, when I'm talking about the business, I'm talking about the business. In the words of Frank Lucas, I'm going to get that money. And it's not about Roland eating. I want all of us to eat. I wasn't fighting with the Biden-Harris campaign and the DCCC and the DSCC and DJ and all of them only for me to eat. I was saying, no, we have to eat, because one black-owned media company can't eat it all. Just like, hell, Disney can't eat it all. Comcast can't eat it all. Fox can't eat it all. So what makes one black company think they can eat it all? But I'm telling y'all, you don't even realize it. This is multiple billions are going to be spent in 2026. And what we can't do, and it always happens, an article comes out in the second week of October, some black folks complain about lack of money being spent towards African Americans. That decision was made, boom, in January, February, and March. This is the moment to start checking folk and not wait until later in the year. All through my panelists, they know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. They real for me what I'm talking about. Jelana, I'm going to start with you.
Thank you for starting with me, Roland. Because as you were talking, I was like, I know what's going on, because I'm an elected official. And here's what I know. When I buy radio, somebody gets a cut and it ain't me. When I buy a TV, which I couldn't afford, somebody gets a cut and it's not me. And, and you're right. There are yard signs. There are, like you said, T-shirts. There are people who literally they only make money during the election season. So you can hire people. That's important. But I think what black companies and black people need to do on the real is we need to start checking these white people who interlope into our neighborhood. I mean, there's a whole racket in black churches where they bring good white people to the black churches and say, black people, you can vote for these white people. But the white political consultants don't bring black people into white churches. So we vote for them and we vote for them and they ain't voting for us. And I have literally been talking to black pastors saying, why are you letting white people come to our churches when they're not letting us come into their churches? Because I believe we need to do to them what they do to us, right? I don't want to turn the other cheek. I don't want to do any of that stuff. Like even here in Harris County, we got white Democrats suing to remove black women off the judicial ballot for civil courts. And what I believe is our black churches shouldn't allow those white people into their churches. They just should not. And unless and until we hold white Democrats' feet to the fire, they're going to continue to pimp us because that's exactly what they're doing. We're literally the prostitutes as a people in politics. When we really, because black people control the Democratic vote, we could really run stuff if we recognize our power, but we don't recognize our power. And when you see a political story in the newspaper, Roland, you know they're not gonna just print no story from no political person. But no, you got to pay for advertising. So if we'll advertise in the Chronicle, why won't we advertise with African American news and issues? And you know what they try to do is they try to get black influencers to talk about stuff for free when white influencers are making money. So you have hit the nail on the head. I always talk to black media first. I give them the stories first because if black media is breaking stories, then people will pay attention. And lastly, I'll say this. You know, we've got you, Roland, and you have, I guess, showed a lot of people how to break away from mainstream white media. But we got Don Lemon, we got Joy Reid. We have black people. So black folks ain't getting their information anymore from white media. They getting it from y'all. And people better recognize. So thank you for taking this ball and running with it and showing people that you can leave MSNBC and you can leave CNN and you can have a black media company and people literally pay you for you to stay on.
See,
That's boss.
the point that Jolanda made there, Joy, I think, again, when you talk about even the influencers, again, I need people to really just understand how they play the game. So what they'll do is, and again, I'm about to hurt some people's feelings right now, and I'm telling y'all, our panel, I guarantee they all gonna agree with me. See, this is what they'll do.
I don't know, Roland.
No, I guarantee you, this is what they're gonna do. This is what they do. They say, okay, we're not gonna hire that black ad agency. See, that black ad agency has infrastructure. That black ad agency can do what we can do as well. So we're not gonna hire them because damn, what's gonna happen is they're gonna charge us. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go hire this other black person that has a black consulting company. And it's only them. Okay? That when y'all hear me say lifestyle job, that's what that is. See, that's a lifestyle job. That consulting company is really paying for their lifestyle. House note, car note, entertainment bill, food, gas. Over here is a company where they got employees, they got infrastructure, they got costs. So what they'll do is they'll hire that one black consultant and they'll pay the black consultant, oh, we're gonna give you a contract that's $150,000. Now for that black consultant, they are ecstatic. They are happy because, oh my God, I got me a $150,000 contract. They pay the black consultant the $150,000 contract because they don't want to pay the black company $1.5 million or 10 or 15 million. And so then we go, oh, well, no, we've got so-and-so Inc. And you go, y'all have one black consultant. They ain't got no company. And so then it repeats itself. And it repeats itself. And so the actual black-owned company can never actually build and grow. Yet you see this white company over here that just started in 2023, and I'm speaking from facts. It happened with the Biden-Harris campaign, which then became the Harris-Walz campaign, where there was this company. They broke apart from this other white media company, formed their own company, and they end up running some $60 million worth of media through this company, and they just started. Yet some black companies been around for 20, 25 years, couldn't get their foot in the door. But we get excited, well, so-and-so working with the campaign. No, boo, they're a consultant. They ain't got a real company. Joy?
So I'm a consultant without a real company, right? But where Roland is correct, no, but I'm going to tell you where he's correct. What they do is they also hire the same people. 1, 2 people. They'll look like, they'll be black and they'll be in these roles, and they don't give them, sometimes they are part of a bigger firm. Sometimes they're out on their own. They don't give them enough such that they can build, a company off of that. It's fine if you want to have that and build it. But they will give that to the white consultant. What I'll also say is that white consultants are good about coming together. But because we are just not given quite enough, we're lifestyle paid, we don't necessarily have the resources to come together, because coming together can also be costly. So there are all sorts of systemic barriers. But it's like, I posted this on my Facebook page. Many white Americans are fighting against Donald Trump and MAGA, and we're glad to see them. Y'all are late, but we're glad to see you. But what Black people are doing, we're not just fighting against Donald Trump and MAGA. We are fighting against the constellation of racism, and in the case of Black women, misogyny that has existed within structures, both Republican and Democratic. America itself. That's our so-called friends. That's our so-called colleagues. That's the people we work for, the people we work with, who are happy to engage in systems that keep us subservient and second class. We're no longer accepting your crumbs, and we might accept them, but we're going to at least call them crumbs. And we acknowledge what's happening and what's going on. And that's what I love to see, us turning to Black media. Roland, I have people, stupid people, okay? Y'all are stupid. I think you're stupid. Who say to me, well, why do you go on Roland? And I'm like, why wouldn't I go on Roland? They're happy to see me go on other, stations I won't name. But they're shocked that I would go on a Black station, because they are ignorant enough to believe that nobody's watching us. They are ignorant enough to believe that our ice isn't as cold. They are stuck, and we have got to fight against that, whether it's within our community, outside. That's what keeps us depressed. I went to a white consultant's house the other night. Won't give too many details because I'm not trying to call them out.
I am.
For them for making money. But I'm not. I'm doing it lovingly, and I'm saying I went to a party, a fundraiser at this house of Democratic insider strategists. There were 4 Black people there, 1 Asian American, maybe 2 Latinos, in a house of nearly 100.
Yep. Democrats,
progressives. And nobody was looking around and thinking, how can this possibly be? And the house I was in was gorgeous. And we are peers. But me and my husband don't have that kind of house, and I'm glad.
No. I'm sorry. This is no disrespect.
Got to acknowledge there's inequity there.
This is
and
no
nobody
disrespect.
Acknowledges that we never said.
This is no disrespect to you. Y'all not peers.
Right. Well, yeah.
No. Here's why I'm telling you. Here's why I'm saying that. Because to your point, I'm about to go to Rebecca. I got invited when I was at TV One the person who does our political advertising for Radio One. So they had this big meeting in D.C., big reception, and it was the media buyers and the planners in politics. It was at least 400 or 500 people, jam packed. 2 black people there. I was one of the 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting here like, ain't this something?
Angry.
And see, I'm telling if y'all think I'm lying, this is an article that was in realsludge.com, dated November 13th, 2024. The Democratic consultants getting rich off the Harris campaign. And see, let me be real clear. The real reason why, and I get why Ken Martin did it, because all the stories would have been, oh, what went wrong in the campaign. But the real reason why that report didn't come out, because it would have had to call out the Democratic consultant class for their massive failures. So when you look at this article, and you go through here, and you look up the spending, look at this. The Harris campaign's largest vendor was the creatively named Media Buying and Analytics LLC, which is go to my iPad, come on. The Harris campaign's largest vendor was the creatively named Media Buying and Analytics LLC, a front company for the Canal Partners media firm. Y'all, Media Buying and Analytics LLC lists an Atlanta UPS store on its invoices that can be accessed through the FCC. It is registered in the state of Georgia by what appears to be a law firm based out of a suburban office plaza. However, some FCC filings show the firms are linked, and Canal Partners Media's president confirmed the tie to Business Insider in 2020. Now, I'm about to mess y'all up. Founded in May of 2019. That means they were only 5 years old. Media Buying and Analytics LLC has overseen more than $280 million in ad production and placement spending for the Harris campaign. $280 million. Oh, Canal Partners Media's president is Bobby Kahn, a former chief of staff for Georgia Governor Roy Barnes and former chair of the Georgia Democratic Party. Kahn formed LUC Media in 1993. His firm merged with Abar Hutton Media in 2013 to form Canal Partners. Abar Hutton Media was formed by Barbara Burr and Shelley Hutton, who remained with the firm as partners buyers. Yo, you start going through this story, and all of a sudden, you start looking at all the business they do and all the firms they represent. Oh, look at this here. The Washington, D.C.-based digital firm Gambit Strategies was paid $122 million for media production and placement by the Harris and Biden campaigns as of the middle of October. They were founded in 2021. They were only 3 years old. They were just 3 years old. And then you go through this here, you will see the partner who they work for other campaigns. Right, look at this right here. Bully Pulpit Interactive. Founded and led by Obama campaign veterans, non-black, Bully Pulpit Interactive has been a leading Democratic consultancy and media firm in recent election cycles. The company received disbursements of over $101 million from the Harris and Biden campaigns. Look at this. You go through here, and the firm has multiple partners, including Kim Axelrod. The president is Andrew Bleeker, who was the lead digital marketing strategist for Obama's campaign, for Biden's campaign in 2020. Look at this here. You look at all this sort of stuff. Oh, Bullet Pulpy worked the cycle for several dark money groups in the Harris orbit, including Future Forward USA and Climate Power. Oh, by the way, Future Forward USA, we tried to reach out to them. They would return no phone calls, no emails, no nothing. And so look at this here. You start going in here and look at who they represent. Oh, that super PAC, Future Forward, paid more than $6.7 million to media buying firm Waterfront Strategies, an arm of DC-based media giant GMMB, as well as $2.9 million to Bully Pulpit. Do y'all see how all this money is intermingled and how they all work with each other? And that's the whole point right here, Rebecca. All these folks know each other. And they sit here, I worked here, and we break off, and I'm gonna kick you some money, I'm gonna kick you some money. So yeah, we gonna get the 100 million, but I'm gonna break you off 20. So guess what? I'm gonna get the whole ad, I'm gonna get this portion of the ad deal. I want you to handle digital, I want you to handle radio. We all gonna get paid. And ain't none of them black. And then what they might do, Rebecca, they might have one black partner, and then somebody goes, ooh, they got one black principal, so let's do business with them because they got one black person who they're calling a principal. And black-owned firms are staying on the outside looking in.
Roland, how much time are you going to give me?
Go!
Okay.
Well, remember, so, I own this shit, so it ain't like somebody's telling me rap.
Okay, cool. So as your audience knows, I used to be a campaign manager, and I've run campaigns or political projects in every corner of the country. So what does that mean? It means that I've done political work in maybe 40 states, 40-ish states now. And I've done that over the last couple of decades. So that's just one thing, to remind your audience. Okay. So I remember one particular campaign cycle when I was a congressional campaign manager. I might have been maybe one of five, if that, in far as a competitive race. Because like Roland mentioned, there's 470 U.S. Senate and congressional seats that are up in any given cycle. So this particular year. But in that, there's only going to be about 40 to 45 races that are the must-watch races that are going to be heavily contested. So of those, it might have just been me and one other. It might have just been me and maybe one other person that was the actual campaign manager. And so the challenge for that particular race that I'm referencing, this was in 2012, is that it was a competitive race. The Democratic candidate was trying to get the D-TRIP, the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, to put his candidacy on red to blue. And I'll explain what red to blue is. So on the Democrat side, and then the Republicans do this as well. If it's a toss-up district, a swing district, a purple seat, then you want your political party to put you on this list, because when you're on that list, it signals to all the unions. It signals to all the donors who have the ability to max out in their contributions to campaigns across the country. It signals to all the money people, hey, this is a race you need to invest in. It's winnable. You should put money in it. So having conversations that entire cycle with the D-TRIP, I asked them like, hey, you see the initial numbers on my candidate. Yes, I get my candidate's black and this is a white district, but this is the proof. This is how this particular candidate could win. Do you want to know what I was asked? I was asked, who are your consultants?
Boom!
Who's your media person? Who is your pollster? Who's doing your radio buy?
So they ask you those questions. So
yes,
if you did
before we even got to the endorsement.
So if you did not mention the names that they already know, no, we ain't giving you no money. Go ahead.
Well, Roland, I didn't even get through the list of all the consultants on the competitive congressional. So you have TV. So this is 2012, and I'll tell you what it's like now in 2026. You have TV, you have radio, you have the people who do your mailers. If you are a super competitive race, you might, instead of having a traditional field team, you'll have a field consultant who's then guiding who you're hiring on the ground. And then you have a pollster. If you're super well funded, you might have debate coaches, and you might have stylists. You have also, like, depending on how well funded your campaign is, you could have at least 10 different consulting firms. So I'm not talking about 10 different consultants. I'm talking about 10 different consultant firms. And so I remember, so there's that race. I give I'm going to fast forward to a 2014 governor race where I was the deputy campaign manager. Coming out to DC, they wanted to ask, okay, so who you're thinking about, who do you want to do, who are you talking to about running your TV ads? I throw out some names. Oh, well, we don't necessarily like that person. You need to consider this person.
Mm.
There's a whole power dynamic. I need the national party. I need the respective committee to endorse my candidate because that signals to all the funders, hey, this is the campaign to pour money into. And so if they're now telling me, hey, you need to consider this person, what do you all, the audience, what do you all think they're communicating to me? They're letting me know you have no chance in hell of getting this endorsement if you're not hiring these specific people. Now, I want to take a step back because I've worked in politics for a long time. Let me tell you how you become this list of preferred people. So I remember one particular cycle, one of the national committees wanted to hire me to come in-house and do particular work. What happens once you work inside the committee? If you make the right friends, everybody is plotting on what their next step is because you're
Well,
not supposed
when you
to
say
work
next
with me
step, meaning next campaign. But go ahead.
next campaign
Yes.
or actually what your business is.
Yes.
Okay, so if you are running the IE desk, so the independent expenditures, those are the ads that you run independent of that official campaign. It's when the party steps in and they run a bunch of ads to support your candidacy and to attack your opponent. So now all of those people who are running those political desks, because you can run a political desk, you can run an IE desk, you can run the media desk, you can run a field desk. And so the desk is the name of the portfolio that you're responsible for managing. So the entire staff is talking to each other because everyone's trying to figure out what's their next thing. Because when you work for a committee, it is your next step. What's interesting about Black politicals is we tend to stay at these committees for years and years and years. So to Roland's point about it being lifestyle, some of these jobs might be $110,000, $120,000 job. And so if you don't know what your next opportunity is, then you're going to be more likely to want to stay and hang out at the committee because you're thinking, oh, because I have access to all these people and all these people know me, it means I'm going to have financial success. That's not how the business of politics work. If you work at a national committee, you really do have to network with those around you to figure out, hey, let's go ahead and form a firm. Let's
Boom.
figure out what we're good at. So when Roland talked about the media buys, let me explain what that contract is. I've been on the other side of having to sign these contracts, and I could tell you how these contracts are structured. So when you're doing the media buy, when you saw that $122 million number for placement, that means all they're doing is calling the local stations and they're putting in a buy. They're telling that local station, hey, in this particular congressional area, I want to do 1,000 points per week. And what 1,000 points per week means is that I'm running enough ads per week so viewers can see this, can remember that they've seen this ad 7 times in 1 week. And so for a competitive congressional, you need to run about 1,200 points a week. And so each time you run a point, that costs something. So if you're placing the media buy, you're getting a percentage of each placement. So say over the course of maybe 8 weeks that you're running, that you're placing ads on one particular station, that might be a total of, I'm doing the quick math, that might be a total of about 10,000 placements over that 2-month period. And so for each of those 10,000 placements, you're getting a percentage of that placement. And so while some people want to knock on doors, some people want to be at parades, some people want to walk with the candidate, or some people even want to be the official campaign spokesman, that's not where you make the money. You only make real money on campaigns if you're a consultant, but every consulting firm is not built the same. You're going to make the most money when you're doing ad placements. So now in 2026, because TV isn't as important anymore, radio isn't as important anymore. You saw one of the things that Roland read. It was talking about analytics placement. All that means is that's the person responsible for the social media buys, the digital buys. It's not that hard. In fact, most of your social media platforms, you can actually become a vendor and place it yourself. But you still have these old school people who are used to these traditional TV buys who are still charging candidates 10, 15% of the total ad buy. So say my budget is $1 million in total ad buy, and I'm charging you 15%, then that means I automatically get 150,000. So you have some of these companies are charging these candidates 15% just to place an ad on Meta, which is Facebook, it's Threads, it's Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
The costs don't even justify it. It doesn't even take that long to do something like this. In fact, it used to be old school where you need a data scientist to actually help you in the ad buys. You don't need that anymore. These platforms actually build in that feature. So what ends up happening, candidates like Yolanda, they might not have the largest budget to begin with, but then when they're told, hey, you need this particular consultant if you want us to support you nationally, so then you can get national money into your race. And then these consultants are literally just stripping money from these candidates, and it's not actually doing the thing. You need money for campaigns so you can reach out to voters and touch voters. But all of these fees that's going to the consultant class is eating that up. And so as much as people talk about, hey, I want to run for office because it's the right thing to do, I need candidates out there to understand the business side of politics.
Yeah.
Because quite frankly, that's what's hurting us in this country.
Yep. And people need to understand something. And listen, y'all, I talked about it before. I talked about it on Jamie's podcast. This actually happened. I got an email, and I need people to understand how they play us small. Because, see, I loved all these little Simple Simon Negroes who were like, yeah, you got $350,000 from the Kamala Harris campaign. Yeah, it actually should have been $900,000.
Yeah.
It actually should have been $900,000.
That's nothing.
Let me be real clear, okay? It should have been $900,000, okay? And the 350 was BS in terms of, and it was like, well, that's all you're gonna get. It's like, no, it's not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be way more than that. But this actually happened earlier in the campaign. This happened this was in 2000. I got this email. And it was like, and this is what it said. We've received the go-ahead to share the client's name and get final details squared away. Our client is Biden for president. The content we will have was a 30-second video about the president's support for Juneteenth and Black Americans. We are interested in a buy at the $5,000 investment level. Video only. This should plan to run for June 15th through the 23rd. Do you have the ability to geo-target your ads? If not, national is fine. Can you please share video specs for your site? Thank you so much for sending this additional info, and please let us know if you have any questions. $5,000. Now, I want y'all to understand, you know what, inside of these ad firms, they're like, oh, that's a whole lot. I laughed at it. And I told him, now, didn't I tell y'all crumbs? That's a crumb. Also, and for your Simple Simons, Republicans, they ain't calling black people. But let me tell you, the Republicans did buy ads on my show. They didn't buy ads through me. What they did was they bought ads at YouTube. That's why a lot of y'all, when y'all pull my show up and pull clips up, y'all were like, why am I seeing these Trump ads and these MAGA ads? Because they knew black people watched my show, so they bought ads through YouTube's ad network. Just so y'all understand. Just so y'all understand how the game works. But the point here is this: no, what they should have done if you're gonna buy direct, because that money go to YouTube.
Okay.
That's my whole point. But I need people to understand this is how they try to play small. And I was like, y'all think you're gonna buy multiple ads on my show and all the shows on my network for $5,000 over 8 days? Y'all got me confused. But this is how I think I got another email. They wanted to do like 20,000 for like a 32-day ad buy. I was like,
That's
That's
a local radio station.
I,
That's like one small, like in a maybe a small to medium sized market. That's a radio station
Yeah,
yes.
rate.
some podcast.
Like that's not even.
And,
But again, I need to.
and it was crazy, Roland, that they literally put an exclamation point as if you should be excited.
I'm trying to tell you.
in
Oh,
that
I got.
It's a national campaign.
Oh, I got other emails that they sent, other ad buy, and I was like, y'all damn mind. So I need the people to understand who are watching. This is a perfect example of what black-owned media deals with because they do not have, they want the black vote. They want the black eyeballs, but they want it cheap. They don't want to pay a premium, but they'll pay a premium. So we're going to have other conversations. I'm going to go to the break in a second. But I need y'all to understand. I need everybody watching to watch this here. And, of course, I guarantee you, George, Yolanda, and Rebecca, pull them back up. They all know what I'm talking about right now. I need everybody to pay attention. I want y'all to pay attention between now and November. All of y'all who watch and listen to all of those other white podcasters, Crooked Media, all of Pod Save America, Brian Tyler Cohen, all those folks, I want y'all to pay attention to what ads run on their shows and networks. And I got nothing against them. Let me be real clear. I want Young Turks, all those progressive, all those folks. I want y'all to pay attention to what ads run, how often the ads run. I want y'all to pay attention to which candidates and which politicians, how quickly they go on their shows. I want y'all to pay attention to how many times Chuck Schumer shows up on those shows. How many times a Cory Booker or a Klobuchar or Elizabeth Warren and so many others. Because what y'all don't realize is the same people that Rebecca was talking about, they also are looking at which of the politicians show up. The money all flows. And I will bet that $400 sitting in front of me, hell, I bet $4,000, that what you're going to see is you're going to see white progressive media strategists drive money to white podcasts and white digital shows. I'm telling y'all it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And they're going to be driving that money. They're going to be driving that money to them. And they're going to be financing them. And we're going to be sitting here going, oh my God, what's going on? What happens? And when you're paying attention to those shows and you're seeing what they're doing, just understand what they're going to do. They're going to sit here and all you got to do is remind them, when I look at this YouTube weekly top podcast, and this is the new chart right here, and trust me, now Midas Touch is doing a great job, but you got Midas Touch, you've got Brian Tyler Cohen, great guy. You got a lot of right wingers on here. They're gonna be throwing money to them, but the Bulwark, former Republicans doing what they're doing. You got Republican breaking points, Republican, Democrat. You got that. I want y'all. You got right wingers. You got all these people. Of course, you got David Patman, Kyle Kalinske. You got Sam Cedar. You got progressive shows. But I want y'all to see all these shows. I want you to see where the money's gonna go. Jimmy Dore, I don't know what the hell he is these days. But Adam Mockler, trust me, you're gonna see stuff going. You're gonna see Young Turks. You're gonna see all this stuff going. But I want Bulwark with Tim Miller, Pod Save America, all these cats. Watch where the money goes. But let me be clear. There's only one black news show that's on the top 100 YouTube every week. There's only one black owned. This show is not running through somebody else's network. This show I don't partner with this person and that person. We are 100% independent, 100% Black owned. Me. So just understand when they start spending the money, watch who they spend it with.
Yeah.
We're going to have more conversations on this, but I just need our audience to understand the business of politics. Because that's where we get shafted every single election cycle. We come back.